Hello everyone, welcome back to this crash course. Today we'll introduce the third module of our complete crash course, and we'll be talking about providers. This is where you actually learn how to use LLMs, APIs into your application, either via direct SDKs or with frameworks. So let me first give you an overview of what we did already. In the first module, we introduced AI in AI engineering. We went through what's the difference between API and SDK. We actually gave a global introduction of everything we'll be having in this course, as well as the tool that you will need to understand every concept that we'll be explaining. So in the second part, we talk about prompt engineering. We gave some prompt engineering techniques, what you need to learn prompt engineering, some few words that you may have or encounter while working with LLMs, and then we gave few prompt engineering techniques that you as a developer need to know to be able to instruct the model properly. In this part of the course, we'll talk about APIs themselves. So this is where we actually start coding and going through how to use the LLM to build products. In this module, we'll talk about OpenAI, Anthropic, Google, Drug, XAI, DeepSeek. Actually, all of these big providers will teach you how to use them in your own project, and we'll go through different other way of achieving the same result using frameworks like LangChain, Haystack, and LlamaIndex. We'll also have a brief introduction about Together, OpenRoute, and Replicate that will be coming back to in the open source module. And then at the end, we'll have a practical project. So let's start with the OpenAI overview. So as you can see here, we have an empty folder or an empty project open in VS Code. So what we need to do is create a folder for OpenAI where we'll be putting all the code related to OpenAI. And here we open a new terminal. We go to the OpenAI folder. The first thing that we need to do is to actually create a virtual environment. And this virtual environment will keep all the dependency of our project so we don't have to merge them with our global dependency. So let's create that by doing Python vf called vf. Okay. So when that will be done, you will see a folder called vf in there. And then we need to activate this vf. We do source vf bin activate. Okay, so you will see that we have a vf in front of our terminal now. Every time when you see this, it means you're working in a virtual environment. So now we need to create a file here called requirement. This file will contain all our dependencies. So we'll first start by adding the OpenAI dependency with the current version, the latest one. You need to specify the version because otherwise they can change the API and you will break your whole application. So we need to use this version for now. So if they change things in the future, you need to change the version here and adapt your code to the new version. Same for the python.env. So we save this and we just come here, we do a pip install requirements. Yes, I think it's called requirements.txt. Will not open no such file directory. Requirements. Is it in the right? Oh, okay, it's not in the right folder. Sorry. So we need to put it in OpenAI. Move. Okay. And then now, okay. And then now we install all the dependency that we need to have in our projects. So now we need to create a file called .env and also a .git now. So this is just for local. You will have it online directly, so you don't need to create it. So we just git now, and here we put my env file and my vm folders, so I can push it later on. Okay, so here we'll create a file called main.py, and in this main.py will be actually coding everything we need to code related to OpenAI. Afterward, we'll actually structure a bit more what we're doing and provide a Streamlit UI for the end project or for the global project for OpenAI specifically. So here, after creating this, what we need to do is to import some dependencies. So we first import OpenAI dependency. Okay, same for the .env, load the .env, and then we import OS. So what we do here is that we load all the environment variables. Okay, so to do that, we need a function called load.env. Okay, and then we create a client for our AI to connect to OpenAI. We just do OpenAI, and we pass an API key. And to get this API key, we need to get it from the environments. And to do that, we do os.environment, and we pass the name of our API key. So let's say we came to this env and we create a variable called API key. We'll be storing our API. So how do you get your API key from OpenAI? Quite simple. You go to OpenAI API, it will get you here. And then you go to, normally I'm logged in, so you will have to log in, of course. And you go to dashboard, you go to API keys, and you create a new API key. So you need to keep this secret because otherwise people will use your money to actually create their own AI. So just click crash course, create the secret key, come to the .env, here, and paste our API key and save the file. So now we can reference it here as, I think it's called OpenAI API key. Okay, so now we have a client. So what can we do with this? We can actually start calling specific functions and doing specific things. And the first thing we'll be doing, so I think I need to comment here, load API key from .env, and then initialize client. Okay, so now what we need to do is to go through the API, OpenAI API, and I will be showing you different use cases that you have and how you can work with them. So the first thing that we have is just simple chat completion. Okay, it means you have a chat message, let's say a chat box. So let me just draw that in Escalate Grow. You have a conversation, right? Conversation. Let me just delete. I need this and I need this in black without the round corner. Okay, like this. Okay. The thing that happens is that you have a chat between you and the AI. The AI will say something and you will say something, right? Like this. So you have a field of conversations. So what's happening is that when you will be talking to the AI do not have a context, at least the API, it does not have a context of everything that's before what you're asking now. So you need to keep it somewhere and send the global list of message to the AI. So the AI will have a context of the whole conversation to be able to answer. So if you say here that my name is Jack, and you say, nice to meet you, Jack, and then you ask, what's my name? The AI needs to know that you say before your name is Jack. And to do that, you need to keep the whole flow of your whole conversation. And how do we do that? We create an object called messages here of just misuse this with TypeScript. Okay, which is an empty array. So the first thing that you need to put here is something called role and this content. So this role is system. Okay. And in this system, you put your prompt. Okay. So let's say you're building an app that will, let's say, help you with mathematics. So you need to specify here that you are an helpful math teacher. You can solve, all the prompt engineering related things. If you need more context, I have a video on the channel. You can watch the video on how to create proper prompts. So we just quickly go through it here. I don't have to do this. And then this will be the first message that you give to your system. You don't need to print this because it is the instruction of your whole app. So to put this in perspective, this simple prompt here, what you wrote here, can create two different apps. So you can create a mailing AI that maybe help people write better mails, or a math tutor, or an English tutor, or a coding assistant, only based on the prompt. So this is where you define what your app will be doing. And this is that the part that will differentiate your app from other apps. So writing a better prompt here is crucial. You really, really need to understand how to write better prompts to have better applications at the end. Okay, so with that said, you need to be having this flow of conversation that I showed before. I mean, the AI and you have to differentiate that using this role here. You have the system role, you have the assistant role, which is the AI response, and you have the user role, which is your response from you as the person. So you can do this and have here user may say something like I need help with 1+1, I don't know, something like this. And then the response that you'll be getting is actually what the AI will be giving you as solution to that. So let's do that. Like quickly do that. You come here, you do response is equal to client the chat the compilations. And this part here is quite important. It's these two segments here because a lot of the SDK are just changes here in parameters. So if you know the suffix, I would say the suffix here, it looks like an API suffix, and the parameter that each of these function takes, you can build anything on top of OpenAI. So let's just do that, create. And here we need to pass some parameters. The first is the model. As model, we can choose GPT-4o. Okay, you can choose for Minim or whatever model you want, GPT 3.5. You're free here to choose a model that suits your needs. And then we have now messages, and messages are actually the flow of messages that you're passing to the AI. You can just put it to be messages. Okay. So with that said, this will actually, you have some other parameters like streaming, if you want the response to be coming one by one, or you want to have everything one time. But other than that, we can directly get the response here, and we need to console log. We need to print response. Okay, so if you come in your terminal here, you clear everything and you do Python main.py. Oh, I need a comma here, of course. You'll see that it's taking some time to go through the API asking to OpenAI, and you will get a response here. This response is a specific object, and if you check here, you have choices. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, you can see here that we have message as a property of choices, which is the first element of the array. So if we do response dot choices of 0 dot message, you will get the whole response from the AI. I think it's kind of formatted right now. So let's play this again and open this like this. You see that you get this just completion message with content. So you can just do the content to get the content directly if you want to. And you are getting, certainly the equation is something like this. So this is the first use case. Let's say we completely switch use cases. We want an AI that gives you advice on mental health. Let's suppose we can build something like that. You are an empathetic, how do we call it? Empathetic. I think it's just, that's not the right way of writing this. Empathetic. See, and you help people with, I think they will block this, but let's see, mental health. I need more, I don't know, more joy. So let's try it out. You will see that we have a different app just based on this one. So let's try it out. Okay. So you can see here, I'm really glad to reach you, wanting more joy in your life. You know, this is a different use case. So we went from a math tutor to an empathetic C only based on the prompt. That's the power of LLMs. So, and the power of prompting. So now you see the importance of having a good prompt into your application. So now that we have this base and we know that, okay, we can do many things just based on the prompt, we can also, I think when you use ChatGPT, you have, you know, the text coming one by one. To do that, you need this parameter called stream is equal to true, and the response is quite different in that case. So you don't get response this way. You get response as chunks, and you need to loop over the chunks. So how you do that? You do a, here, you call this response, okay? For chunk in response. You can actually stream this directly to the front end so they can, you know, show it progressively. This will make your app faster. from response. Now you need to say if the chunk that I have right now, the choices of 0, the delta, that content is not none, so it exists, you add it to a kind of text. So this is not useful. Normally you need to stream it somewhere, but I'm just trying to show you how to do that. So you do, let's say, full message. Okay, and then we just do full message. Yep, that's the right way. Plus equal to what we just said here, chunk delta. So we add each chunk into the full message. Yes, and then that's all. We just print full message here. Okay, so let's try it out again. Okay, you see that you get a response here directly from the streaming the response from the AI. Quite interesting. So now I need to show you how to do much more complex things. So we went through the simple text generation or simple text completion. And by the way, when you get this response in a normal chat, you need to add them to this array. So normally you do something like messages that happened, full message, but in this format like this, role, assistant, and then content, full message. So you keep track of everything that's going through the conversation. Yeah, with that said, we have everything containing base completion. Now we can go to the next part, which is structure output. So now let's say you want to build something pretty strict in terms of output. It means maybe some app that will extract key information from a document, or some app that will extract key information from a simple text. So let's say you give a text and you want the AI to be giving you the introduction, the body, the conclusion. But in this case, if you get a text like this, you cannot really, go through it and parse it. So you need a structure output to get it. It's the same as using it to predict something, okay, or using it for stock exchange. So if let's say you want to use this for trading, if you want to use this for trading, you need to give maybe some stocks and get back some predictions. And these predictions need to be not text if you need to act on it. So you need a structural way of getting this result. And structure output is a way to do that. But for that, you need another module called Pydantic. So that's the reason why we go in our requirement and we put the Pydantic file and then clear this and we do a pip install requirements. It will install everything, including Pydantic, if it is not already installed. So you can see here, already installed here. Okay. And then in your code here, you need to specify the format of your output. And to do that, you need to create a class, some kind of class. So you come here, you import from Pydantic, import base model. Okay, this base model, you will create a class that inherit this base model called class, let's say, stock prediction. And you pass the base model. Okay, and here we're just giving the keys that you need. Let's say you need a stock name or code, I don't know, which is a string. Then you need action, which is also a string. Let's say you do something like this, okay? And you say you are an experienced trader. Give me trading advice on stock to buy and actions to take on these stocks. Okay. Okay, let's give this to the user input here. Okay. And then you need to pass a new thing here. I think it's still in beta if I'm not wrong. So you need to do beta chat completion. And here, instead of create, you need a parse. Okay. And with the model, you actually need the 4.0 or one of the latest version of 4.0. So if you use one of the earlier version, you will not be able to get this this functionality. So like just trimming, yeah. And then we put some parameter here called response format, which will be our stock prediction. Okay, so let's see. We run the same as usual, python main.py, and we are getting some error saying stock prediction base model big B as imported. And now client.beta pass got unexpected. Okay, we cannot stream this, so let's just comment this. But in this case, we need to we cannot do this, so we directly need to get I think here response the choice of 0.message, and you will see the format. Let's see the format first. Taking some time. Okay, you'll see that we have a structure thing here. It will say Tesla, consider buying any dip around this potential, market. You can give it a bit more instruction like code to say buy and value to say this amount, and it will be more strict about what it will be giving you as output. So now you can pass this and say, okay, the stock name is Tesla and the action is buying it, right? So this structure output may help you call the LLM as an API to do some specific things. It can be parsing text, it can be extracting key information from data. It can be much more complex things. You can actually use this to do really, really complex app and use the LLM as an API. Okay. So with that said, we need to go to the next part. After the structure output, we need to talk about the vision model, the vision model of OpenAI. This will help you pass images to your model, and these images can range from just simple text on text-based image, or with complex images with complex things on it, and the AI will use this as context to your conversation. Okay, so let's say you want a simple AI that will explain memes to you. Okay, to do that, you need to use a vision model. You pass the image of the meme, and the AI will be able to predict or give you an explanation of what it means. Okay, so let's try to create that. To do that, we have simple changes to do here. So let's hear the prompt again, pretty important. You are the meme lord. Okay, you can explain and understand every meme in the world. Usually pass it. We can also add that, I don't know, you pass your whole day on Reddit. Yeah, so we can just say explain this meme to me. Okay, explain this meme to me. Okay, but here, instead of stopping here in the content, I think we need to change this way, like this. And we pass first a type, not like this type, and this type will be text. So we need to specify when we are passing text or image. So we pass text. It would be the man. Okay, the man will be text. What we ask for is explain this meme. Okay, and then we need another key called image URL. You can also pass basically for image if you have local images. So let's just say image URL. I'll just look online for some random meme. Okay. I don't know. It just says something like this. We copy the URL, copy image address. We come back to VS Code and we paste it here like this. Okay. But in that case, we need to put this image URL instead of text. Okay. And then we call our function. We remove this. We can just directly get the choices and okay, getting some errors saying beta chat compilation pause. Okay, let me check that. Okay, that's right. So here instead of this, we need URL like this, and then we have our image. Okay, so let's try it out again. Okay, this meme construct how design and programmers stereotype react to similar stole my idea. You saw the meme. So yeah, you can do something like that. So you can pass images and have specific use case where the AI will be going through the image and maybe doing some specific things like maybe extracting information. It can be extracting text. So you can do that as well. So you pass an image of maybe a PDF or something and ask the AI to extract the text in there. And yeah, many more. So this is simple of a vision model from OpenAI. So now let's go to the next part, or maybe I'll just show you quickly how to do the same that we did here with local images. And for that, we need to encode this image in base64. So you let's say you have an image here. I don't know. We'll not really have it. You have to use real image. So let's say you have an image in base64. You need a function to decode this image. You can get this simple function here from the official documentation. So what it does is you need to import base64, of course. Okay, so what it does is it opens an image that you pass by the image path, and then it read the image and encode it in base64. Okay, so what you give here, so it's like so here type image URL, and the URL will actually be something like this. So let's first get the base64 im is equal to encode image, and we pass the path here. Okay, image, and then here instead of this, you pass the it needs to start with base64, and so you can just format it like this, and then here you pass the decoded the base64 image. So now it will read this image locally. Let's say it's a PNG, and then pass it to the model to do specific things on it. So you can do the same by getting the image directly from a request. So maybe someone upload an image on the platform. You pass it in base64, you encode it in base64, and you pass it to the model. Okay, so I think that's all for the vision part of this overview. So let's go to the function calling. So what is function calling? Let's say you want to build a system like Siri with this. For the moment, all we can do is just give text and get back text, right? So how do you do to fetch the weather? How do you do to play a song on Spotify? How do you do all of these things that, Google Assistant and other can do? Create tasks, search for things online. The only way to do that is for the model to tell you explicitly, this user asks for this thing. Please, can you perform it on your own so you can implement the logic for these specific things in your applications? So this is the role. This is why we have function calling, and function calling is quite simple. What you need to do is just define some tools. Tools can be get the weather, send a mail, whatever. And to do that, you come here and you create maybe an object called tools. Okay, let's get the official documentation object. Okay, so let me explain this to you. The type is a function, and the function is called send email. Normally in the tool call, you will get this send email to know exactly what the AI asks you to do. And it will be send an email. You give the description so the AI knows, okay, when this happens, I need to call this function. It's send an email to the given recipient and subject and message, okay? And then the parameters is actually what the model will extract from the text and give it to you so you can pass it to your function. So we need the to, the subject, and the body, okay? So with that said, let's change our prompt again one more time. You're an experienced assistant. You are a helpful assistant, okay? Assistant. And here we'll go back to our normal structure. We don't need this anymore. We just do write an email to Angela at ulife.ai and ask for a voice agent app. Okay. At ulife.ai and ask for a voice agent app. Okay. So now we need something else. We need to pass another parameter to our whole model to say, we actually need you to consider these tools. And the pretty simple things to do here is to pass the tool parameters. It's all tools and you pass it is equal to tools. Okay. So now you have the choices, and then from the choices, you will see if the function is getting called or not. And this in the message. So if we run this again, oh yes, I think we need to do this and then this as well to avoid issues. Okay, now it takes some time, of course. In the meantime, you will see here that we have past chat completions, and you have a new field called function call, okay, and tool call. Now the tool call will say the to, this is the mail that you need to send to. The object is inquiry about voice AI agent app, and the body is hello, I hope this message finds you well, and everything. So this, you can actually parse this, like parsing it. It's just simple as saying, okay, if this dot tool call, I think it's called tool calls, right? Tool calls, yes, of 0. Dot, what's the name? Function? Yeah, I think it's dot function dot name, if I'm not wrong. No, dot name. Is equal to something. So let's just print this first so we can see if the function name is getting here. Taking some time. It's saying no attribute name. Okay, so we have, where is it again? To subject body, and it ends here from the pass argument. So the name directly comes from tool call here, and it's pass function, and we have function. Okay, that function. Okay, great. You will see that send email, which is the name of your function here, is sent back by the AI. So you can just create a function called send email. So let's say def send email. Okay, it takes some params, I don't know, just for clarity, just for, you know, and it does something like print, hey, okay. And what we have here is, we have this. So what we need to check is if this exists, okay? So if we get the send email at the end as feedback, so we do that function as well, and we check if we get send email. Now what we can do is call our send email function. some annotation here. With the parameters, and the parameters here are pretty simple. I think it's called parse argument. So same function that parse arguments. Parsed argument. Okay. So now we try it again. Yes, of course. You wait a minute. Normally this will simulate sending a function, and you will see it said hey, right? And this hey, where does it come from? From our function. Okay. So we can just be sending an email here, and now you can create complex systems where this AI interact with different other tools. Okay, with that said, let's go to our next part, or the next module, which is actually text-to-speech. The text-to-speech model is actually just made for you to be able to speak. So let's say you're creating a complete assistant, right? So here you need to have a voice reading out of what the AI is giving you back, and you need for that a text-to-speech model. They have a great model. I actually think 11 Lab is better in that sense, but their model is good enough. You will get the voice that you get in ChatGPT. You have all these voices on the website. Let me show it to you. Okay, so let's go back. Done. And we come to platform again. We go to the text-to-speech. You'll see that you have a range of voices here. Hello, hash, coral, you can play and see how they sound. And as I mentioned, the fragment changing is actually this from audio.speech, and you need to know the parameter that you pass to the model. In our case here, the model name, of course, same as before, but now we have two new parameters, which is voice and the text that you're passing. So now you don't pass the text as before, you pass it directly as an input, and you will get back a response, which is an audio and in streaming, so you can directly read it when it's coming, or you can save it in a file as they wrote here. So depend on you. So you can use this to actually read things out loud, make your system interactive so you can speak with users easily. Okay. And yeah, the next module here is a speech to text. So this is quite interesting as well, because it can allow you to talk and get the transcription or the translation. Both are great. Okay, for the transcription. So first of all, this model is actually open source, so you can just type whisper. I think it's called whisper. Okay, whisper GitHub. You come here. You can actually just install it this way. I think this is whisper 1, if I'm not wrong. Yes, you can just actually install it this way, OpenAI Whisper, and use it like this, without having to pay OpenAI, of course. It's pretty lightweight. You can use it directly into your computer without having to buy a big GPU or something. And when you get it, or if you want to use it with your API, of course, you can do it that way. It's still quite simple. You get the audio, you pass, this trunk again. It's now audio point transcription. You pass the model and the file name. But one interesting use case that they introduced is the possibility for you to give the input text in different languages and get the transcription in English, which is quite important because most of the time your model can perform extremely well in English, but extremely bad in other languages. Okay, so you may want to get the output in English so you can feed it to the model and get better accuracy. So for that, you need the translation module. So here, same thing, exactly. So you just need to change the transcription by translation. And then you give the files, and then now you get the text always in English. If you speak in German, you get it in English. If you speak in other languages, you get it directly in English. Okay. So with that said, let's just quickly go through many other API that they provide. The embedding API, we'll go through it later. And I will explain a bit more what embeddings are, because this is quite important for retrieval augmented generation. But in general, they have different models here, the small and large. I think they have some legacy as well, legacy models. This just transform your text into vectors like this, so you can do some mathematics operations on it. So same, pretty simple, clear and embedding create. As I mentioned, you just need to keep this in mind. This chunk is actually where the use case changes, and the input as well. Okay, the text and the model, quite simple. Now the moderation is something quite interesting as well. So if you create an app where you need to make sure that user users not upload some kind of content or hateful speech or whatever, you need to use this here. You can directly do it with the API, like just writing a prompt, do it. But if you want a more a more specific model to do it from OpenAI, you can use these omni moderation layers, and then you pass a text. It will classify it into Google will. Anyway, all these words that you see on the screen, hate, illicit, and whatever. Now we have some reasoning models as well. So this is a bit more expensive. It's still in beta. If I'm not wrong, the reasoning model are in beta. You can access them, of course, but you need to be in some tier to access this actually O3 mini or other O2, O1 or O3 mini and others. So yeah, but the thing you need to consider here is that the latency is much. It will be slow, but the output quality will be far more better than a normal chat completion model. Okay, and as you see here, it's actually the same thing. The only thing changing is that you pass the O3 model and you pass a reasoning effort. Okay. Oh, and by the way, this store just means you want to start it online, and which is quite interesting or important for model distillation and all of that we'll see later. Okay. So with that said, we can also go through your image generation API. Where is it? Image generation here. So you can use OpenAI to actually generate images. Pretty simple, image generate. You pass the prompt of what you want and you get an image back. But now we'll go through all of the image generation APIs a bit later. So we'll not be talking about it here. Same for audio generation. So you can actually pass some text and get some audio back. So the model, instead of answering directly with text, it answers directly with audio. Okay, so you can do it here as well. Same. All you need to change is actually give some different modalities here. It's actually the same, and you pass the modality to text and audio. Okay, so with that said, we have some interesting things here. So the predicted output, important when you want to keep your cost low while doing some things like code generation or things like that, because you need to feed the text to the model and only just get the completion, which reduces the cost. You can read it more here in this part of the documentation. Now you have the fine-tuning API as well. Quite simple. You create this file with a strict structure like this: role system content this, and then you get the user assistant content this, which will act as a way to steer the tone or the way of behaving of your model. So if you have enough data like this, you can actually make the model be more specific to your use case, or more interesting, or more accurate to when solving problem in your use case. Now the distillation, by the way, just some quick info like this. OpenAI said DeepSeek used distillation in their process. That's the reason why their smaller model is better than O1, maybe. But the distillation means you use the data that a big model generated to train a smaller model, and that will make the smaller model much more performant. At least it can match the performance of the big model in the specific use case that you choose to fine-tune your small model on. So that's the reason why in DeepSeek you have three models. You have the DeepSeek model, the L1, you have the V3 before, and now you have the distilled small models, which kind of have the same accuracy as some of the big models, because it uses the output from the big model. Okay, and to do this in OpenAI, you can directly do it here. You store the data in some specific with some specific data, metadata in the dashboard, and then you use it to fine-tune the model afterward, and use the evaluation metric to evaluate it. So let's talk about evaluations now. Yes, so writing a prompt is interesting, but being able to make sure that your prompt will work in production is really hard. So that's the reason why you have evaluations. Evaluations are like testing in software, where you have to write a test to make sure your software will work properly. For evaluation, you need to have some prompt and some expected output and pass it to the model, and the model will actually compare the real output and the expected output to make sure that it match your expectations. So you have some kind of way to evaluate your prompts, And this API can help you do that. It's still better, of course, but you just go through the API, you click through it, you upload some files, you know, it's you can get it. I just want to mention it, but you can also do it with libraries, with Python libraries. Free to you. You can directly use it with do it with the API, with the SDK as well. Free to you. You are free to choose which one suits best your use case. But yeah, you have an evaluation API, you have a batch API as well when you want to pass multiple things to do at the model at the same time, and this will reduce your costs also. And then you have an explanation about the prompt generation process. Normally in your playground, if you go to playground here, you will see that here you have some improve, this one, improve the prompt. So they're explaining how they're doing it here with the meta prompt here, saying, okay, this is meta prompt. And then you will get an enhanced prompt at the end, for example. Okay, so you can go through it as well. Everything is in the documentation. But so far, what we did were pretty simple, going through everything that OpenAI provide as API. So now let's get into creating our simple chatbot, which will generate UI using, it will generate startup ideas for us. We'll have a UI, we'll be able to chat with the model. It will help us generate ideas and brainstorm. Okay, so let's get started. So now that we have this here, okay, we have all these complex things, function calling and everything. What we need is, let's first just comment a lot, because I will have to push it online so you can have access to it. So just comment it, because we don't need all of these. Okay, same for this. We just need this. Okay, now we just, let's just first do a simple chat, and this chat will be called by a Streamlit UI. And to do that, we need to first, as usual, add the Streamlit requirement file here, requirement part here, and do a install requirement.txt again. Okay. Oh, I need /r here. Okay, so now that this is done, we'll create a simple UI using Streamlit. So let's create a file here called chat.py. And Streamlit is actually just a simple library that will help you create simple testing UI with Python. So what we can do here is just first importing Streamlit, and we need to create a function here. Our function will be the call or just AI, and we pass the messages, because we'll be getting the message directly from Streamlit, because we need to display it. And we do what we did here. Quite simple. Okay, and then we can give it back. Okay, we can just return response or some specific things of response. So now let's design our UI. First, let's import our AI from main, import AI. Okay, now let's set a title to our page. Okay, like this. Yes, we need to have a state where we will be keeping all the messages. So we can do this like this. Yes. Then we need to display the messages. Okay, we can do it like this. We look over all the messages and we display them. Okay, now we need a prompt where the user will enter the text, and this text will actually call a function. So we do our function, our AI function. We do this first. We type the message, will be the input that we have at the bottom of the string, and then here we'll save this into our state, same that we did here in the main. You remember, we just pushed. Okay, I deleted the line. Sorry. So normally we were pushing things in this array. So we are doing the same here, pushing things here with the user content, and then we are displaying the user message like this. No, this is too much. Okay, and then now we're expecting the assistant message. Okay, so what we'll be doing is that we'll just create an empty placeholder message, and we need the AI response to be streamed. So we will be having, as usual, full response here as an empty string. I think we did that already, so shouldn't be surprising. Now we do a try and catch, okay? Because it can happen that the model was trash, so we just do try. And then we do except. Okay, and then we paste some, we show some error on the screen. Okay, so now here in this case, in this part here, we need to call our AI, and our AI will be response now is equal to AI, right? And AI gets what? Of course, the array of messages. So we can get it from Streamlit like this. Okay, and we need to display what we got. And we do the same loop that we did before, and we added, we did it already, so we don't need to go through it again. Same, and we add it to the we display the full message at the end. And normally this should be okay, right? We get the response, and we get a chunk in the response, and so now we do here, we do a pip install. We did that already, so we just do a Streamlit run chat goodbye. Okay, yes, so I think this is in the wrong folder again. Yes, so we do this. You will see that it will open a browser. So let me show you the browser. Okay, so the browser is saying, hey, how can I help you today? So we'll say, what can you do? Tuple object has no attribute choice. Okay, so let's go in the code again to debug this. It's saying here that, where is it again? What are we returning? Are we returning the response? Yes, response, we return response, that's complete. Oh, okay, yeah, sure. So instead of these, we have something else, which is it's another function. It's chat compilation create. Okay, so then we launch our server again. Same. What can you do? Same again. Okay, let me check the code again to see what's happening. So maybe we can write some logs. Okay. Returning response should be fine here. Client chat.completions. Create. We pass the model for. Oh, we pass the messages. Oh, yes, of course. Makes sense. We need to first activate the stream. Okay. So now when we get this, let's first print response to make sure we get the right response. We get the messages. The messages, what's in these messages? Oh, we need to do this like this. Okay. Yes, should be fine. We get your file system. And then this, we don't need this because we are pushing the message directly. So we don't even need these messages here. We are getting it directly from this here. So if we need this, what we need to do is actually get this word here as an array. Put it here in the, where is it again? In our message. Where is it? So here we have something like this. We just do this and we do this. Okay, and we just paste this like this. Okay, so with that said, let's try it again. I think I can watch this if I'm not wrong. I just need to do Streamlit one. Okay, so let's run this again. Normally we have a, okay, so let me, we have this. So if I say hi, I'll go back to the, we have a stream from OpenAI. Oh, great. How can I assist you today? So what can you do? And you will see that it's writing it directly. This is the streaming part of the thing. So if we remove this, we need to directly get the whole text and show it to the user, and the app is a bit slower. Yeah, so with that said, I think we just have some mismatch here from where we put the user message and where we put the response. Yeah, but in general, that seems good. We have everything. We just needed to update our state. So let's quickly do that. Okay. Like, okay, how can I help you today? I want to start a project. You'll see that great. Passion, expertise, exciting and rewarding venture. Okay. Help monitoring apps, it's giving you some ideas here. Personalized learning platform, AI-driven things. So what else can you do? Idea validation, business model development, market research, this is actually based on the prompt. So, and you can quickly deploy it and show it to people just as a demo. This is not a production ready app, of course. But in general, I think we went through everything. You can actually integrate tool calling, integrate voice, integrate text to speech, and other things. But you have it from the API. You can play around with the version that we have right now. Add more complex things on top of it. If you need more about Streamlit, you can go to Streamlit official website. You have you would get much more information from the app and how to use everything. Okay, you just go to the docs, and you have everything you need here. Okay, how to install it, how to use it, and many more. So if you need some other kind of fields, if you need to build complex app, you actually can do this with Streamlit. So yeah, I think we had a really long video, a long overview of an OpenAI API. Yeah, in the next part of this tutorial, we'll go through the same process. We'll do the same process for Entropic, so you understand deeply the Entropic API. You understand how to use the Entropic API to build a complex app. And then we'll do the same for Google, DeepSeek, XAI, and Grok. So if you don't want to miss that, don't forget to subscribe. If you like the video, please just drop a like. And if you have any question, drop a comment. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next one.